Hello. Welcome. This is Samir again with Chatbot Marketing Center. I'm back live here on Facebook and we are going to talk about messenger bots. So today I want to continue talking about messenger bots and specifically about messages, sequences, and broadcasts. So to give you a little background, if you are joining or watching this replay for the first time, I have been teaching how to build marketing bots for your business, marketing messenger bots for your business, and I am going from very basic. I'm assuming that you want to do it from scratch. So some of the things that I've been teaching will be repetition if you already know, if you're already familiar with messenger bots. But it is aimed specifically for those who are completely new. So I'm going slow and I am kind of taking small steps, repeating very frequently because I just want to make sure that even if you just happen to stumble upon this video randomly, I'll try to give you a little bit of context. Also, if you go to my timeline on Facebook, if you look for Samir Ranpara, and go through my timeline, you'll see videos, series of videos there in chronological order, and you can pick up from any of the previous videos if you want to learn more. So anyways, just to repeat, I'm Samir here, back again with one more live, and we'll be talking more about messenger bots. I am going to switch into the screen share mode. So if you're joining live or if you're watching replay, please say hello in the comments. Also, I'll remind you, ask me questions. If you want to learn more about something, let me know. If you want to suggest topics for me, what I should be covering, let me know. Or just say hello if you're stopping by. Okay, so I'm going to switch to, I'm going to start sharing. So this is our, this is the platform we have been using, ManyChat.com. And so far we talked about couple of different ways of driving people to your messenger bots. We have talked about teaching the bot a few basic things. We talked about, what's the first thing the bot will say, welcome message, greetings. And lastly, we talked about building sequences. So flows, you'll hear these two terms, flows and sequences. Flows are conversational flows. And sequences is nothing but a series of conversations. So to just quickly recap, let's go back to this example of landing page. Right here is the landing page where people start their journey. We offer them something for free. They click the blue button and they land, they go to thank you page. Once they click the blue button, this landing page turns into thank you page. You kind of remind them, go to Messenger, and Messenger app will fire, or at least on the mobile device, the notification will start, and then they will see the get started message on the Messenger, and they will receive, what you have done is, this is the first message that they will see. They'll be sent to Messenger. They'll see a get started button. Once they click the get started button, this is what they'll see. This is what they will see. It'll welcome them, and it'll say that it'll talk about how they can unsubscribe. One of the reminders that always make it easy for people to unsubscribe. And they are here to get that freebie, so we deliver the freebie. So after they get this message, we are asking them, can we use this chat to deliver the freebie that they wanted? Yes or no. Let me just kind of expand this message so you can see. So what I did was I hit edit on that message, and then I'm going to go to the flow builder, top right corner. It shows it visually. So we offer the freebie. If they say yes, we deliver the file, right? We give them the PDF here. If they say no, we say no problem. Is there anything else I can help you with? And in theory, we need to build this. In practice, we need to build this more, right? Because we are asking questions, and I left it off. You do want to continue the conversation here. But the way you want to structure this is you don't want to continue. You want to mainly deliver the freebie, and you can decide to talk more right here within the opt-in message. This is the first message. Or what I recommend is, after you deliver the freebie, subscribe them to a sequence. Here, if you see, notice here I have subscribed them to a free bot guide sequence, and I am kind of taking them to that series of messages. So here, let's go and look at that sequence. I clicked on the automation on left hand side. I'm going to sequences. Here is that free bot guide sequence. And so here we can set up that series, right? We can send them different messages at different time intervals. Like I was saying, that initially you want to make sure you don't send them too many messages too frequently, and at the same time you don't want to stop sending messages. Like there is a balance, not too many, not too few messages, right? So initial recommendation is when they land on your messenger, just deliver the freebie, and then next day pick up. So that's the thing here I'm doing. The first message in the sequence starts after 1 day. That's after the welcome message, 1 day after the welcome message. And that's where you can ask them more questions. So again, if I go to the flow builder, and here you can decide, right? Like I was suggesting earlier, that you definitely, what you want to do is basically teach more, right? It's educational marketing. So you definitely want to teach them more, and at the same time ask them questions to learn more about them, so that you can figure out what exactly to teach them. So one of the things I was doing here was, the next day I was asking them questions. So to give you a context, in this example, the free guide that I was using was the free guide about messenger bots, whether the messenger bots are right for their business or not. So messenger bots can be helpful, but they're not helpful for all businesses. And so I was offering them the free guide, and then only people who are interested in learning more about messenger bots would have chosen the guide. That was my assumption. So the next day I'm kind of asking them more questions around that theme, their interest in messenger bots. So I was asking, do you regularly engage with prospects on Facebook? So let me edit this message. And so one thing you can do, one thing that is very handy is, as you can see, there are overlapped messages here. And if you want to kind of have a clean visual flow, choose this auto arrange steps. It's on the right edge, as you can see. If I click on that, it'll kind of make it so that it's easily visible. Especially it will be more handy when you have a bigger flow and you're building out like so many steps in your conversational tree. So this is an example, and I asked them question whether do you regularly engage with your prospects on Facebook, yes or no. If they say yes, the next message is yes. Great, did you know there is a way to help people you engage with on Facebook even better? You can help them better, people who follow you, you can help them better using messenger bots. And if the people are not engaging, then we were giving them like some facts, some tidbits, why they might want to look into messenger bots. Did you know that Facebook Messenger has 1.3 billion active monthly users? Even if you are not using Facebook, your ideal customers are definitely there. So this is what I was referring to as kind of educational marketing. You know, we are kind of teaching them and nurturing them and establishing that trust over the long run. So this is what you want to do. Like initially, you can be in touch every day for at least 5 to 7 days. You want to send them messages every day, and do this. Teach them, ask them questions, and try to learn more about them also. Just because they opted into the free guide doesn't mean they are necessarily interested. They might be looking for something else. So you want to uncover that. You want to discover what they are really looking for. So one way to do that is ask open-ended question, right? Like, what in general are you looking for? You can ask, at least ask one open-ended question so that you can learn more. Now, for example, how can you ask open-ended question? So let's see, let's kind of build that out. So let's see, we can add one more message here. So one day after they subscribe, we send them the question, and we kind of talked about the Facebook engagement and some facts. 2 days after the welcome message, that means after one more day of delay, we can send them one more message. So let's build that. So educational message, you can change that title if you need to. So I'm going to edit this message. So let's see, what should we ask them, right? The question is what? Like I was referring, you want to ask them an open-ended question. So you want them to be able to type in. Now, if you add buttons, they can only click buttons, right? In order for the user feedback, you need a mechanism where you can allow them to type in, and that's this user input, right? So that is actually a pro feature. So I won't be able to show you completely here because for this demo I'm using a free account, but I can show you how that might work. And then in another video, I will switch to a pro account and I'll show you that. But just because I happen to talk about open-ended question, let me show you how that's done. So I added the user input box, and here you can ask, when it comes to growing your business or marketing, what is the biggest challenge that you face? Something like that, right? I'm giving you an example. So we asked this question, and I'm going to delete the that was a pre-populated default question. So I added this question, and then what will happen is they can type in the input on the text field. So if you use Messenger, normally we use the text input, right, to talk on Messenger. So they will see this message and they'll be able to type in using the free keyboard input. And you can capture that in a field. Okay, you can capture that response within a field, within a variable. So you can store that with a label. You can store the message with a label inside ManyChat, and you can reference that later. So if what I'm talking about is not clear, please ask me questions. Let me know. And so let me switch to broadcast, because that was the main thing I wanted to talk about. So sequence is a predefined series of messages delivered over a certain time interval, right? Like once you define the sequence, they will get some message on first day, then after 1 day they'll get another message. I can activate this message, and then you can set the offset. So the one important thing about offset is relevant. Offset here is in context to the previous message. So this second message, when you say after 1 day, that means after 1 day after the previous message. Okay, so keep that in mind. It's like incremental. So you define that sequence, and then those sequences will be delivered automatically once you set it up. So that's why you can set up the educational sequences here. Now sometimes you want so gradually you will build the followers here, the messenger bot followers, as people subscribe to your bot, and over the period of time you would want to send them some news messages, or you would want to tell them about events that are coming up. You might be doing Facebook Live or online class or webinars and things like that. So how do you do that? That's when you use broadcast messages. So basically, broadcast message, as the name suggests, you can broadcast to your followers, and because of its nature, it can be easily misused, right? Because you can imagine you have the ability to kind of send a mass broadcast to all your followers, and you can easily end up overdoing it if you're not careful. So Facebook is very strict with this broadcast messages, and there are kind of strict rules about how often and when you can send this broadcast messages. So let's talk first about the basics. You can build a new broadcast here on the top right corner, the blue button. So here is our handy text editor. I always switch over to Flow Builder. Right, and then I'm going to edit this message here. So let's assume that we want to talk about an upcoming event. So what you want to do is don't just say that I have an event coming up and here is the link or something like that. Talk about the event that is coming up and ask them whether they are interested or not. Okay, so always kind of if you're doing an event that's kind of a newsworthy item, right? If you're doing some class or event, it's like a news for your followers. So you want to give them that news, but at the same time you want, before you kind of send them link or ask them to do something, gauge their interest, whether they are interested or not. Always ask that first. That's the reason I'm kind of reiterating. So let me show an example. Let's say that hey, you want to kind of customize the greeting, right? Whenever you're sending message, say like use hey first name. And if you remember, we have access to some of the user parameters that are publicly available, like then first name, last name, full name. So you can use that to customize, because if you put yourself as an end user, whenever you get message that is customized and it's using your name, you are kind of more likely to respond. It just feels better when someone has kind of customized message specifically for us, rather than just doing a generic message. So that's something you can use. Hey, first name. Let's say we can say we can say that recently a lot of people have been asking about messenger bots and how to use that for marketing. Is this topic of interest to you? Now, this might not be the best example, but I'm just kind of trying to tell you that you want to talk about the subject matter that the broadcast is about, but first ask whether they want to hear more about that subject matter or not. Right? This could be anything. I just picked this example, generic example. It could be anything. Is this topic of interest to you? And then give them at least two options, yes and no. Yes, I am interested. Or say, no, not interested. Right? Okay, and then we can kind of define the actions for those buttons. Remember, whenever you define a button, you have to define an action that is attached with that button. Like if the person clicks on yes or no, what you will do. So here, if the person is interested, we want to invite them to the event, right? Like whatever whatever was the premise for this broadcast, we wanted to do the broadcast because we have something coming up and we wanted to let our followers know about that. So what I'll do is I'll pick this button and double click, send the message. Great, I'm doing a Facebook Live about this topic on Friday, March 30th, 11 a.m. Pacific time. Would you like a reminder when I go live? Right? So now we are asking them whether they would want a reminder. First, you asked whether they want to know more about the stuff or not. Second, you always ask whether they want reminder or not. Right? So because if they are really interested, they would want a reminder, and reminder is a great way to drive people to the Facebook Live. I mean, to live or the event that you are doing. So you definitely want to ask that, whether they want the reminder or not. Some people may not want the reminder, right? So you always want to kind of, you don't want to assume, you definitely want to ask. And let's say you have the button yes. Right? Usually we give them two options, yes and no. Now, whoever said yes, what you want to do is you basically want to label them. At least you want to tag them that this person was interested in reminder, and reminder will again be a broadcast when the event starts, right? So here what I will do is I'll at least send them the message affirming confirming that they were interested in reminder, and I will be sending the reminder. I'm saying, awesome, you are all set. I will send you a reminder when the event starts, or I'll send you a reminder a few minutes before the event starts. Okay. And if they say no, again, you want to say something. I understand. Here are the event details one more time. This kind of, make sure even if they say no to reminder, just because they had said yes, they wanted to learn more about the event, maybe you can tell them details about the event one more time, right? Here, that's an option. But the other thing, more important thing you want to do is you want to automate things as much as you can. And I'm going to mention that because it will be very helpful. You want to have this mindset of tagging or labeling events that happen in the conversational flows, because we just don't want them to have a conversation with our bot, and during the conversation we learn something about them, and we want to remember that learning, right? We don't want to just kind of forget about that. So here, if the person said that they were interested in reminder, you want to capture that information, because when you actually want to send the reminder, you will have to know, right? Like who asked for the reminder and who said no. So you don't want to send the actual reminder to people who were not interested. So in order to do that, you want to use tags, and I will show you that. What you want to do is, whoever said yes, you send them that message, and there are a few different ways of doing that. You can bring that last message where you confirmed that you are going to send them reminder, and click on that message. You will open the editor, and when you scroll to the bottom of that editor, there you'll see this continue to other step checkbox. Check that, and it'll show you this little circle. Click on that and click again and select action group. Lots of steps. Don't worry, you can kind of go back. I'll be going through this many times, so don't worry about that. Select on plus action, select add tag, and just type in a label, whatever label you think is suitable for that person. Needs event reminder. Now, of course, you want to be more specific than that, because you will be creating multiple events and you want to sort out different types of reminders. Needs event reminder, right? And the person who said no, you want to make sure that you don't have to, but I think it's a good practice to label all types of people, because when we actually want to send reminder, we can just look for this label, this tag. I'll be using label and tag interchangeably. When you actually plan on sending the reminder, you can just look up the needs event reminder tag and send the tag to those people. But I'm saying that's also one way of doing that. But you can also tag these people who said no specifically with a new tag. You can say that no, you can create a tag, say no event reminder, if you want to be kind of more specific. I'm not sure whether I'm making sense or not. If it's not clear, please ask me questions in the comment. this is something, use of tags and labels is something I'll be using more and more, but I wanted to kind of start using them so that you can get the idea. Right, so we are at the top of the hour, so let me kind of stop here, and what I'll do is in next video I will finish this process. I'll show you that, you know, when you do the actual broadcast, how you want to use this information that we captured about the reminders and how to use that when you do the actual reminder broadcast. So again, one more time, thank you so much. If you happen to watch this video during replay, thanks for doing that. Say hello if you're watching this video. Please share this, ask me questions, make suggestions. If you want to learn something specific, let me know and I will be more than happy to do that. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining and I will see you soon. Bye.